Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Let's slay some demons. Our subject today is the imminent war in the Middle East. First, a short clip.
That's Israel firing missiles into northern Gaza as Hamas fires over 45 rockets aimed towards Jerusalem. This is according to new reporting out from the IDF, that's the Israeli Defense Force. It comes as tensions continue to ratchet up in the region following what has been a weeks-long new spate of military conflict. Trey Inks joins us now from Israel with details on the ground. Hi, Trey.
Jillian, good afternoon. This was a red line for Israel, firing on Jerusalem earlier this evening. 7 rockets targeted the city, and dozens of rockets have targeted communities along the Gaza border here where we are standing. The past 30 minutes have been quiet, but the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, are preparing, they say, for days of fighting along the Gaza border. We spoke earlier with sources inside Gaza who have confirmed that the Israelis are now responding with airstrikes inside the Gaza Strip. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, 9 Gazans have been killed, including 3 children, in this Israeli retaliation. How did we get here? That's the big question. Well, this week has been extremely tense. There were protests across Jerusalem that turned to riots. Early this morning, more than 300 Palestinians were injured at the Al-Aqsa Mosque as Israeli security forces stormed in. All of this related to 2 major issues having to do with access to Al-Aqsa and also the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood in Jerusalem. Those are very local and focused issues for this conflict, but as we have seen tonight, this is evolving into a much larger situation. I want to get you some information that we're getting here from the Israeli military. They are calling this a severe assault on Israel. They say they hold Hamas, the group in control of Gaza, responsible, saying Hamas will bear the consequences. We also know, according to the Israeli defense spokesperson, that a Hamas military commander was targeted in some of this Israeli retaliation this hour. And this takes things to a different level inside Gaza because the factions there then say they need to respond. There are 2 big factions inside Gaza. One is Hamas and the other is Islamic Jihad. Both of them have fired rockets tonight into southern Israel and central Israel. In the past, the last major round only focused on Islamic Jihad. So the fact that Hamas is getting involved in the fight means that this is turning into a serious conflict for the region. And as you can see behind me, police have blocked off roads leading to the Gaza border itself. We're just about a mile away from the border, and there are bomb shelters opened all around us. It's very quiet in this city of Sderot because people are preparing for further conflict. Jillian?
Trey, thanks for being there for us. Stay safe. We'll check back in with you later. Appreciate it. John?
Fox News alert now, an incredibly dramatic scene playing out along our...
As we can see, it's getting very hot. Very, very hot. So let's prepare for our presentation here. Let's see. A second here. Okay. Right. Presentation here is up and yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. And change this here. Okay, brothers and sisters. We're talking about the upcoming war, which is imminent. As we can see, brothers and sisters, temperatures are becoming hotter and hotter and hotter. We're told this war is going to take place and everything will change. It's the war that's going to trigger Armageddon. We're told it's going to be triggered in the Middle East, war with Iran. And we see temperatures getting hotter, hotter, hotter there. It seems to be the center focus of the entire world, the Middle East. As it says, I will make Jerusalem a trembling stone. Everybody that goes against will be broken. And we see this unfolding before our eyes. Everything's about to be exposed. This is a major event that all the prophets and messengers before us talked about, the war of Armageddon. The final war, a war that's been brewing for 50,000 years. And now we're in it. And you are the generation that will witness it. How you witness it is totally dependent upon you. Whether you witness it in the spectator seats or you witness it in the hot seat. But you're going to witness it. And if you're still breathing in the next few days. Now it tells us that no one knows the exact day and hour except the Father, which is Farad, because he's the one that's going to war. It says he's Michael, and his angels went to war against the dragon and his angels. So he's the actual one that's going to go to war. But it doesn't say that we won't know the time and the season. And so I can take, if the angel takes us up all the way to within a month, and that month is on us. I'll calculate that month to be May or June, and we shall see. We get hotter and hotter every day. So I calculate that time to be within the next 60 days. Next 60 days. That's my calculation based on my knowledge of the AL-INJIL. Once that takes place, as it says in the Quran, when you see Allah coming with the angels in the clouds, it's too late then. If you haven't made up your mind by then, it is too late. That's not talking about people that are ignorant, because a lot of them will be lost. It says, does say some people may be lost for lack of knowledge. It says many will be lost because of lack of knowledge. So many of them are going to be lost. But it's primarily talking about those, the disbelievers, the resistors. See, the devils and the demons, they're the resistors. See, we don't care if they believe or not. We don't want them. We're talking about those who heard and for whatever reason didn't get involved, didn't stand up, because they're the reason why our people are lost for lack of knowledge. Because knowledge is here, knowledge is present. All the signs are there. It tells you everything you need to know. These people know, but they're proud. See, they want to be the one. They want to be the big man. They would have been the big man if they stood up. They would have been a big man if they stood up. They would have been a big man or a big woman if they stood up and got behind the angel and helped wake our people up. They made our people aware. They would have been. There's a big thrones prepared for those who stand up and get behind this message. But instead, they're going to be broken fools cast into the fire, because the blood of our people that are lost because of lack of knowledge is totally upon their hands. Totally. To be asked, well, why didn't you get behind that? Oh, God was the last one. Okay, did you read the book of Malachi? What does it say there? Does it say that he was the last one, or does it say that the messenger of the covenant will come behind him? No, Farrakhan is the man. Well, Farrakhan is the spokesman of Elijah, right? What does the Exodus say? It says that he will betray and deceive the people, have them worship the golden calf, which is Sunnism. He was a liar. Plus, the fact is, how can you square the fact that it follows the devil? I mean, did you study any biology? I mean, how are you going to explain that? See, Aaron would deceive the people about 40 years. He'd be a spokesman of Elijah. Oh, so how are you going to explain these things? See, because then you're going to be asked. Like the Quran says, you will be asked. Clear. Well, didn't someone come in? I mean, well, the messenger of the covenant said he would come in and clean up things. So he's saying something was wrong with Elijah. He was cleaning up Elijah's mess. So what are you saying? I mean, did he not come? Did he not teach about the covenant? Well, didn't you believe? Did Elijah Muhammad tell you that we see Abraham? That we have a covenant with God? So why didn't you believe in the covenant? Because if you was Farrakhan, you don't believe the covenant. Because you said we're not going anywhere. And that's the payoff. That's the reward. So don't worry about them. And this time is running out. See? And our people are going to be delivered. They're going to be raised. When the four winds blow, it means our people are going to be backs against the wall. They have no choice. See, we're going to leave them no choice. That's why I say your covenant with death, right, will be annulled. See, because the demons are trying to get you to make a covenant with death or reparations. We're going to give you everything now. It's all of a sudden they want to give you everything. They love you. Critical race theory. Brothers and sisters, tell me take this vaccine when you don't need to take it. Read Exodus. The Pharaoh said, oh, it's corrupt. Oh, it's okay up to the point it gets to Aaron. Then it's corrupt. You know what you see? Now he said, well, just crime. But I'm tough in the Bible. And it says, this gospel, meaning the angel, gospel means the angel, will be taught in all the kingdom, not the Quran, in all the world, and then the end will come. Not the Quran. So we lead them in the wait and see blindly, one on. See? Until they come face to face with the fire. And then pushed off in it. Because there will be no mercy for them. Because the blood of our people, they had a right to the kingdom. They had the keys to the kingdom. See? They caused to be burned up. Innocent people. Because they're innocent. Our people are innocent. The Quran, the Bible tells you that. They're innocent. Because they are submitted to Adam. They follow what Adam did. So they're called innocent. They're not sinful as Farrakhan's telling you. But anyway, his mess so crazy. And one day he's sinful, one day he ain't, one day he's merciful, one day he ain't. All this stupid stuff he's doing, right? So they don't come face to face, as the Quran said, with justice, with mathematics, with reality. See? So let's move on, brothers and sisters. Now we're gonna look at chapter 12. Oops. We're gonna look at chapter 12 because chapter 12 is that's what we're gonna put our focus on, chapter 12. Because that's where it talks about chapter 12 of the angel, where it talks about the war. Michael and his angels fought the dragon's angels. So we're going to define who these are. Now, the dragon, he has 7 heads and 10 horns. So that's what you see over here. Right? The dragon represents that cow there. That cow, a calf, represents the house of Sod. See this whole, see the top here, that's the lion. I'm not going into the details about the angel key. And this represents the calf with 6 wings. Sunnism is 2 parts. In other words, let me clear up a couple things. I'm not going into detail about this, but he had four beasts, right? One was like a lion, that's the top one here. I filled in some things, right? And he had 6 wings. See, bow, wing, staff, all those are wings. I put some definition there, right? I filled in some definitions. The next was like a calf. He also had 6 wings. Next, like the face of a man called death. He has 6 wings. Then the flying eagle down here at the bottom. He has 6 wings. See, the top part of each one is the golden part. The top part of each one of these is the golden part. Just only when I outline that is here, because I want to make a point. We had the calf. So, because the Arabs are part of the Asian nation, right? And so they're the golden part. That's where you get the golden calf from. See, Sunnism is the golden calf. Sunnism is the golden calf, right? Okay. Down here, the golden part, I have it in white, but the golden part down here, the European nations, is the Shia, right? And they're the Muslim part, because the golden part is the Islamic part of it. Because Islam, gold stands for Islam, or those associated with Islam, see? But when you go in and study the Quran, it says the Arabs was given Islam as a religion, as a religion. Think about that, as a religion, because Islam is not a religion, but they're religion people. All these people under the thumb of religion. From 35,000 years ago, the first religion was Buddhism under Dr. Buddha, and the whole world has been under Buddhism ever since. Every world's been under religion. Back up. Every nation has been under the color of religion ever since. Religion is not based on facts, it's based on belief. So you have all these different religions, none of them can be proven. Not one of them can be proven mathematically, not one of them. Not one of them can be proven, all of them are based on belief. See? And so what we have now is Sunnism is also based on belief. See? That's why I say gave Islam as a religion. See? Because Islam is mathematics, Islam, there's no mathematics in Sunnism. Understand? That's why I say gave Islam as religion. So the dragon has 7 heads and 10 horns. So that starts right here where the river is, where the cow is, the calf. So if you go down here, you cover the 2 rivers and the sea right here, that gives you 10 horns. And then down here you got the 7, right? You got the European countries, right? You got Syria, Iran, that's 2 of them. You got America and Britain, right? That's 2 of them. You got Russia and EU, and then false Israel. That's the 7 heads. See, I'm not going into detail about that. See, but the beast also has 7 heads and 10 horns. See, and there was 2 beasts. There was a dragon. There was 2 beasts. Both of them had 7 heads, 10 horns. The difference was One of them had crowns upon his horns, and the dragon has his crowns upon his heads. And another one didn't have any crowns at all. That's the only difference between the three. See, I'm not going into detail about it here, because I have a presentation that explains all of that. But that's what I'm just trying to outline, and that represents the dragon. Okay. Michael, it represents Farad. See? Okay. Michael's angels are the shield. We're going to show that. Michael's angels are the shield, right? But the dragon's angels, that's America, Britain, and false Israel. That's their angels. So we said, I'm just laying the foundation here. So we go in, because this is the angel key here. This is the angel key. I filled in something because the symbolism changes. It's like a puzzle. You have a puzzle, same puzzle, but you put different pictures on it. Same puzzle. But once you learn to put one puzzle together, once you learn to do it by heart, it doesn't matter what the picture is, you can just put it together. Because you know how to put that puzzle together. See? So the picture changes, but the puzzle doesn't. The angel key doesn't change, but the pictures change. The symbol, depending on the chapter, the symbols change. And so you have to figure out, look at that chapter, and find out how that picture fits onto that key. That's what you have to find out. They talk about, the winds, they talk about the sea, talk about earth. Okay, how does that fit on that key? Once you do that, then you can start understanding what they talk about in that chapter. And then you can also go out into the scriptures and unlock, because the angel can unlock all the scriptures. We're going to talk about that a little bit too, as we go on, right? Okay, I'm going to make a little short note here. Short note here. Okay, well, this pen's not working too well. And I guess I'm not going to make a note because I don't see another pen available. And this one's not working too well. Try it again. Oh, okay. Well, so much for that. Okay, well, let's move on. I'm going to pause just for a second. Let's see. Oops. Okay. 1 second, boss. Just let me get a good pen here. Okay, mission accomplished. Okay, okay. Okay, move on to the next. Now, the key has different, the key itself, one more thing here, brothers and sisters. Let me set this up right here. Set this way. That's not the one. There you go. That's better. What is that? I don't know what that is. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is one of the angel key can take several constructs. This is one of them. This is the one where it's talking about the nations under control of the European nations. See, I'm not specifying in detail here. I'm just specifying in the sense of what we're talking about now, right? Okay, but anyway, in general, right? I mean, the original nation is scattered, so I'm showing that here. Normally, in this particular key, you have the original nation all under control of America. So that you see the British over here on the British side, right? That's the Middle East. They have controlled the Middle East for over 100 years, I believe, right? India, Arabia, see, they dominated, right? And European countries, right, colonized Africa. See, that's the red part there. They colonized it for hundreds of years. See, Russia, right, ideologically controlled the Orient with uh, communism. These are facts, historical facts. And Angel bears that out. So not just throwing stuff together, right? There's a certain pattern. Those who study Angel Key understand what I'm talking about. So I'm not changing anything. And it says that Syria and Iran, they're the original side. In other words, the top two are the Islamic part. In other words, they're original. They're, put it like this: the father carries the seed. So the top part of each nation is the original side of it, right? So yeah, they're white, but they're original, just like Farad is, because his father was original. So from their paternal side, right, they're original. On the maternal side, they're Caucasian. Okay, so they're part of the Caucasian nation. They're the Islamic part of it, right? Okay, so and then you got false Israel, who is the God, like Jesus told you, he's the God of this world, because they're controlling the world. He's the God of it. Because one is center there is the Lord or the God of that particular nation. Okay, and then you see like the demon, Farrakhan Aaron, spirit, NOI, right? Okay, those represent, right, the original nation, but it's been corrupted by rape over 400 years, been corrupted, right? So therefore we have demons, which means they're Caucasian on their paternal side, but they're original on their maternal side. So you are what your father is. So they may look like us, talk like us, walk like us, but they're really Caucasian. Okay? Understand that. So now we're going to start from here. Now, this case right here, this is 1990. This is 1990, right? The original nation, right? There's a falling away first. That's why you see them scattered. That's what the falling away first. It came in 1975 when Elijah Muhammad departed. So they fell away. So they're not all together. See? So that's why they're scattered. So we leave it at that. Because I don't want to go in detail about that. Those of you who've been studying your key understand that. So that's why you see them scattered like that. Because it's 1990. Okay. This is the point where the war starts in the Middle East, so-called Gulf War, when America, false Israel and Britain, right, move into the Middle East, right, and they superseded the power of the Shia. Instead of the Shia, they was witnesses in chapter 11. They witnessed for 42 years, 1948 to 1990. And then that's when the war would take place in 1990, it says, and they would be defeated. See, not defeated, but their power would be superseded, right? So, because now the main powers in the Middle East after 1990 would be America, Britain, and false Israel. That's what we're going to be talking about here, okay? Now, when I say that greenish one, that's the bad translation call that pale. It's not pale. It's greenish yellow. See, that's very important because they say, well, it must be pale. No, it's greenish yellow. So that's the greenish yellow horse, right? Then you got the black horse. Then you got the white horse. See, Pharaoh Aaron, he's the white horse, right? Then you got the fiery red horse, right? Those are the horses. They're also horses. They're also called spirits. They're also called eyes. They're different. Depends on the chapter. You know, like I said, the puzzle remains the same, but the picture changes. So depending on the chapter is what they call, right? Okay, let's move on. So in other words, this situation what it looks like in 1990, right? This before the war. Then what? What happens? See, America falls Israel, and Britain moves into the Middle East. Now they control the Middle East. The dragons with them, right? House of Saud, because that's what that calf there represents the House of Saud, the Sunnis. See, okay, so they move in, right? And so now they're the power brokers in the Middle East. The war actually takes place. They move in. It begins in 1990, but the war actually takes place in 1991, right? It starts in 1990. Okay, so that's now they're in this position, and so they've been in this position, right, for 24 years. That'd be 1991 to 2015. That'd be three days and a half. 3 days and a half of what? Half of the 42. Remember they would void 2 years, right? And they witnessed. So that's we say 3 days and a half. The half of what? Half 42. So 21, half 42, 21 plus 3 is 24 years. They've exactly did this for 24 years. They said what they was it says they were not allowed to be buried. So they were not allowed to be buried. That means because the buried to be under the earth. They're not under the earth. Remember, the European countries represent the earth. So they're not buried. They're not under the earth yet. So they weren't allowed to be buried during that 24-year period. See, those of you studying angel understand what I'm talking about. Right? Okay. So this will take down to 2015. Right? 24 years from 1991. Then what happens? Then they're allowed to be buried. And said this situation will last for 3.5 years. 3.5 years, which is 42 months. Said 42 coming back at you again? 42 months, which is 3.5 years. And it says, this is JCOP, says they'll be under the foot of the nations, for 42 months. That's 3.5 years. That means the UN represents the nations. So it's under UN control for 42 months or 3.5 years. That was a so-called JCOP, where the UN had authority to come in and examine everything they did and make proclamations or whatever. But they was under authority of the UN. That's what it means. It was under the control of the foot of the nations for 42 months or 3.5 years. The JCPOA under Obama. When he was president. That's why I see his picture there. Because Obama is the lion. He's from Africa. He's not one of us. He's from Africa. His father's African. He did not experience, he's not a seed of Abraham. The Africans really represent the Levites. Right? But they're grafted in tribe. And he's part of them. He did not go through our experience, our 40-year experience. So that's what you have right here. So now they're on the foot of the nations, allowed to be buried. We have right here. So follow this closely. Chapter 11. Pull it out if you have it. But you need to get a translator, or you need to throw that King James version away, because you're not going to get it right, because it says things that's incorrect. They change words around and it throws off the meaning, because you need to know that it's greenish yellow and not pale, because the fact that it's greenish yellow explains a lot of things, other things elsewhere. Okay, another little thing that you might know, if you take rain, right? See, that's the rainbow. I'm not going to detail about it, but that's what it would be, because it says they had power to close the heaven, but would not rain during their prophecy. So that's what it talks about. I know most are not going to understand it. But remember, this book was prepared, was revealed 2,000 years ago, Prophet Jesus, but it was written actually 16,000 years ago. Some say it was written at the beginning of time, right? Because they knew that this day was coming. The first God knew this day was coming, right? Because we're the first God on the contraction phase. In the expansion phase, there was only one, first God. In the contraction phase, it takes 6,000 years for the universe to go from the expansion phase to contraction phase. In other words, it expands and then it contracts. So to make that transition 6,000 years, so this expands that 6,000 year period. Now it's contracting. So all the energy that was out there is now coming back. It comes back in 50-year periods. It's momentous in heaven and earth, but it comes above a sudden. So we received our first one in the 1860s that broke out physical change. So the next one 50 years later, 1920s, right, broke out mental change. And next one, 60 years later, 50 years later, there's a so-called civil rights movement, right, which broke out social change. And now 50 years later, it's about to break out all our change. And is that coincidence? That because music is the soul of a nation, so it's a coincidence that the major types of music, because the first major type of music was the blues. When does that come into? Check it out, Google it. 1860s, same time we broke out physical change. And what's the next one come in? The next major one, jazz. When did that come in? 1920s. When I broke out mental change. And what was the next one? What's the next one? Right? What they call soul, Motown, whatever. That came in the 60s. Around time. Broke out social change. And so now we're about to break out all our change. So we're due for a new form of music. Think about it. But I'm just pointing out this thing about rain. If you change letters around, right, what'd you get? Iran. See? There was no Iran 50,000 years ago. There was no thing called Iran 2,000 years ago. See? So that was, the angel is so powerful. Um, it's telling you, getting your name of the country, right? But that's another story, brothers and sisters. That gets to a lot higher level of angel. I haven't got to yet with most of you. So this is where we were, right? From 2015 and be 3.5 years. That would take you to 2018 and 6 months. But our year starts in the beginning of spring. That's the official beginning of the year. The Romans change it. We don't worry about them, right? But universally, the first day of the year was the 21st of March, beginning of spring. So if you go from there, then we're talking about like October and November, right, would be as long as they were in that position. And what happened? Exactly. Mr. Trump broke the agreement. He got killed, the JCPOA agreement. Exactly on time. Exactly on time, right? 2018, right? Right? Late 2018, he killed an agreement. Exactly like it says. I'm not adding, subtracting anything, brothers and sisters. See? So now that means they're not in that position anymore. And it says, at that point, right, see, then they would, say the Spirit of God would come into them. Now, remember, the God in this case is false Israel. And the Spirit right there, right, that's the Spirit is that God, right? Because remember, the original nation also called seven spirits. So that spirit belongs to this God. So it says the Spirit of God came into them. Okay, so we're going to see what that means. It means after 2000, so around 2015, I mean 2000, yeah, around 2018, around October, November, right? See, that'd be 3.5 years later. Yeah, well, get used to this process. Spirit of God came into them. That's what it means. So they're rising up now. They're not on the foot of the nations anymore. See, not on the foot of the nations anymore. They're rising up now. Okay, that's where they are right now. And it said, in this case, it says it will be 3.5. In this case, 5 months. So it means half of what? Half of 42. Half of 42 months. When we talk 42 months, that'd be 21 months plus 3. That's 24 months. So they 2 years to get in this position. So that means from 2018, around November, right? 2 years later will be 2020 around November. Okay? But it also says that during that time they will be spreading plagues on the earth as often they wish. That's during the period of time that COVID-19 came in. Between 2018, say 2000, November 2018 to November 2020. So it came during that period of time. That's what it says. So they would have power spread plagues, right? So we're not going to Exodus about it, because God said He's going to bring this plague. See? He's going to bring this plague. And the purpose of the plague would be for them to force us to leave. See? When does this plague come in? It says it'll be from 1619 to 2019 would be enslaved. That's how long? 40 years. 1619, 20, exactly what it says. And then 2020 would be a plague that would kill the firstborn of the elderly. They said never had a plague like that that just killed the elderly, but it will pass over us. And it is passing over us. Have you checked Black Africa? It's passing over them. So why is it killing us like flies? That's a lie. They're setting you up, brothers and sisters. See, I'm not going into detail about that, but they're setting you up. Okay? Yeah. So all of a sudden, all this, remember, as soon as plague, all this stuff, because they understand exactly what that meant. See, because the Jewish religion, they hold based on Exodus. They know exactly what that meant. But they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know you're a true seed of Abraham. See, so, because all of a sudden now they want to be nice. They want to give reparations. Everybody's got to be vaccinated. They want to love you so much now because they're afraid. They know exactly what that means. They don't want you to know. Because while they're trying to decide what to do, whether they try to talk you into take some kind of settlement before God comes, or God honors contracts, or just get rid of you. Because now they're trying to think. See, some of them just say, let's get rid of them. Get rid of the evidence. Some say, let's try to convince them. See, get reparations. See, remember, Esau sold his heritage out, right? His heritage, right? Inheritance for a cup of a bowl of soup. They're trying to get you to sell out, brothers and sisters. Some of you going, I'm not, but because they want you, they want to kill that contract. When God shows up, say, wait a minute, we paid them off. They agreed to this. Okay. Anyway, this is the situation we are right now. See, so in other words, it's a win because in this situation it says it is how long they was in a position. This is how long it took them to get to a position. That means velocity, win, movement. See, the first one they was in that position for 48 years. See, the next one, 42 years. The next one they was in that position for 24 years. See, and then the next one they was in this position for 24 months. Okay, so now, but it took him 24 months, right? See, to, they were in that position for 3.5 years Pardon me. But in this, but here, it doesn't say how long they was in this position. It says how long it took them to get this position, movement. So now, this is where we are right now. But it said there'll be a delay. It said be silence in heaven for the space of half an hour. An hour represents 12 months. So half an hour would be 6 months. So approximately 6 months, give or take a month, 5 or 1 month, one way or the other, right? Then, right, the war would take place. Because now that's it, because they're pushing pressure, they're blowing wind at the sixth seal. That's the wind was blowing, right? How long it take, how much stronger the wind had to get before it blew the fig trees that weren't ready, unripe figs. That's where we're at right now. And it says the war would actually take place, right? Because there'd be a delay for half an hour. Silence in heaven for half an hour, which is approximately 6 months, right? Give or take a month. So that would take you from November, if you say, okay, end of November, right? That'll put you into May and June. This month and next month, the war will take place. I'll say within the next 60 days, right? So here we are right now. So, but it says, who's going to go to war? See, let's back up here for a second. I want to make sure you understand this. See, like I said, I'll make it clearer and clearer and clearer as we okay, here. See here? See here, here's Farad. That's Farad Muhammad right here. See him right here? Over here is the dragon. Right? We'll see it clearly in the next slide. But here's the dragon, we see the calf head. Here's Master Muhammad right here. Right? Okay, now, but it says the dragon and Master Muhammad, they're going to be going to go war against each other. So let's look at the next one. Look at there. Now watch this. There you go. Now you have Michael. And who is his angels? Iran and Syria. Who is the dragon's angels? America, Britain, and false Israel. There you go. See, war broke out heaven between those two. That's the war. Hope you understand this, brothers and sisters. There it is. Michael and his angels, dragon's angels. That means I tell you, angel explains everything. Angel explains everything. So now they're in position to go to war. Michael and his angels are getting ready to go to war with the dragon and his angels. You see what the dragon's angels are? That's House of Sod, House of Sod, right? The angel tells us that they're really not even Arabs. It says they're Indians that the British put on the throne, right? To keep cheap oil coming. I'm not going to go into that right here. But anyway, that's what it means why it says Michael and his angels, you see, okay? And the dragon and his angels. So we see who Michael's angels are, see the dragon and who his angels are. They're going to war. See? So this will happen within the next 60 days. Goes only 6 months, hold back. That 6 months was a mercy. It was like a decision period to get those who are sitting back, trying to figure out what they're going to do to make a move. Because once that war starts, it's too late. Once that war starts, too late. If you're not on board with this, right, actively on board with this, that war starts, but you were aware of it, and you rejected it, and you resisted it, but you're aware of it, your goose is cooked. And there will be no mercy for you, period. Because if you want mercy, you have to get mercy from all those brothers and sisters lost because you was holding back and blocking the light, casting shadows on this message. There it is. It says, then they stood upon their feet. It said, see, with two movements there. It says, the Spirit of the God came to them, and then they stood upon their feet. And they stood upon their feet. That means they kicked false Israel, America, and Britain out of the Middle East. The dragon defeated them. The dragon was defeated. That's what it means. See? So now they're kicked out. See, dragons, all those angels are kicked out. So you see, the Shia are back in charge. Middle East, totally in charge. Middle East, totally in charge. Saudi Arabia, the whole bit, all of it, from Syria, Saudi Arabia, all of it, Yemen, all of it. They have total control of all of it. Iraq, all of it. That's why I said in chapter 18, the European countries, when they talk about those things that fell overnight, European countries will collapse overnight because they totally depend upon that oil in the Middle East totally. And they was behind America when they went to war with Iran and Iran and Syria. They've been at war with Syria on and on for the last 8 years. Talked about that in chapter in the fifth seal. Not going to talk about that here. So they cut it all off. They cut it all off. Israel, the European countries collapsed. The economy collapsed, except for Russia, because they have their own oil, not dependent upon Middle East oil. Understand? Trying to make this very detailed for you, brothers and sisters, because that's what we getting ready to happen right now. We telling you news before it happens. The reason I'm focused on this is because it's about to happen. It can happen any day now. It's going to happen within the next 60 days. I have no doubt that Angel is correct. I may be wrong about my interpretation of it, but Angel is absolutely correct. It's been correct every step of the way. All those dates I gave you, Angel was right on time. The plague came in right on time, 2020. It's killing the firstborn, exactly like I said, the elderly. It's passing over us, exactly like I said. Black Africans not being affected by this. They're not doing social distancing, not wearing masks. But how come they're not talking about that? It should be all over the news, right? So we're not dropping like flies either. I'm 72 years old. I'm not taking a vaccine, haven't taken up wearing a mask. And I've been affected. I've been affected by the virus. I think I probably had twice. Just made me a little sick. I heard other black people tell me it made them sick, but they didn't kill them. Remember, the plague is supposed to kill. See? So they said we couldn't get sick. Okay. And this is where Babylon falls. See? Where it falls. So what does mean here? It means now America's at war with Russia, at war with the EU, who has turned back on them. See, the EU is going to turn against America. They're going to fight against them. They think they're allies? No, they're going to fight on the side of Russia against America. America will be at war with the EU and Russia. They're already kicked out of the Middle East. They'll also be at war with China and Korea. Armageddon. See? Armageddon. And at that point in time, brothers, that's when your back's going to be up against the wall. That's the time they're going to attack you. They're going to attack you. See? Because they see they got to take you out. See? You are their wealth. They've been living for your creativity for over 400 years. I talk about that. The Europeans were not creative. Their technology was pretty much the same as it was 2,000 years ago. As the Romans said, it came here 500 years ago, they wouldn't have been lost. The technology was virtually the same. I think they may have cannons, but other than that, I mean, still was using swords and and stuff like that. So right. So I mean, they didn't have telephone and all that stuff. So the point is, they would have been lost. But the technology didn't take off till they brought us over here, because we the creative power behind them. But they won't tell you that. Look at all the European countries. How come they're not as creative as America? They don't have us there. See? I'm going to talk about that in a minute when I talk about the story of Joseph. See, that's why they don't want to let us go, because they're afraid if we go, all that creative power be turned against them. See, because they sit back on the banjo, see, playing their banjo music. Just music itself Our music itself is enough to fuel our economy because our music is popular all over the world. Our music is dominating the world. Music is the soul and spirit of a nation. So that itself will fuel our economy. Just that all by itself. You understand what I'm saying? So if you, that's why I said they fear that the war would break out and we would side with the enemy and then escape. Because if we escape, that's what it's talking about, the gold and silver, right? See the gold, does I see the gold at the top there? Well, you don't see it, but the elect, the gold, that's the, and the NOI, that's the silver. That's what we escape with. That's what they were afraid was going to escape. That's the wealth that we took out here ourselves. We're their wealth. Other European nations don't have the creativity, they don't have the innovation as America does. They just copy on for America. America invented all these different things, computers, cars, all that kind of stuff. They won't tell you that creativity came from us. Because if they're superior, how come they come out of Russia? Hardly any black folks up in Russia. See, there's almost all white folks there. How come they come out of Germany? See, you understand what I'm saying? So they know that. See, so they say, well, if we leave, we take that creativity with us. So before long, we turn it back against them. So at this point, they say, we at war, right? Remember they did the Japanese in World War II? So we could take them out. And that's when you're back a bit against the wall, brothers and sisters. That's when you're going to take, and you're going to come run to Suleiman. That's when the resurrection is going to take place. Because you ain't going to see any way out. That's what's going to deliver you. See? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay. Before I close, right, do something here. I want to elaborate on this creativity side. The story of Joseph is it's a little different than other stories. See, because the way it's coded. See, the whole entire book is sealed, but Joseph is sealed in a special kind of way. So I'm just going to hit some highlights here. See, because Joseph is our story. See, we came over here in 1555. See, the Bible tells you here was Joseph, right? And Joseph, he had brothers and sisters, but he had brothers. But when he came to understanding that he was going to inherit the kingdom. And his father agreed with him. But he told him don't tell his brothers, but his brothers found out. So they were jealous, but they said, hey, he's the youngest one. Because remember your story, Ishmael and Isaac? Ishmael was the oldest, but he wasn't the one that was anointed. God chose Isaac. See? But Ishmael was the oldest, but by Abraham's maid. So I'm not going into all the detail about that. But that matches the same story. So what happened? So Joseph, right? They want to get rid of Joseph because everybody's going to bow to him. See, everybody's going to bow to us. So what they did? They took him, threw him in a well. What is about water, right? What is about water? And from the well, the Egyptian got hold to him. See, now, you got to be, see, Joseph is more like Daniel, because Daniel is very subtle stuff. You got to pay attention to every little point. So that means there's a condition of water between the time, right, the Egyptian got hold to him and time that he left home. That means we crossed the ocean. See, they betrayed us into the hands of Europe, and we had to take across the ocean water. That's why I said a well. Why do you care about going down a well or not? Well, it's about water. You see what I'm going on? It's beautiful. Then when they got him over there, right? He was thrown into prison. Is that what Elijah Muhammad said? He was thrown in, came 55, he was thrown into prison. See? But who was in prison, they knew was innocent. So we was innocent. But when he was in prison, right? See, America, they was in trouble over here because they didn't know. Remember when story of Joseph, they had economic its situation. See, in other words, it's agricultural. Remember, this is the problem they was having with agricultural. See, because America was an agricultural economy at that time. See, it was an agricultural stage, and they had problems with it because that's the reason why they came over from Europe because they didn't know how to, um, what they call it, rotate crop stuff. Because in Ireland, I mean, they had famines and stuff. They couldn't grow anything. They lost their topsoil because they didn't know how to manage. They didn't know how to manage their agriculture. They didn't know how to do it. See, that's why they came over America because they couldn't start. They were starving over there. And their land wasn't producing because they didn't know how to handle their agriculture. And that's the whole problem with Joseph because he had to teach them how to do it because they brought him out of prison. How you show them how to do it? He saved the country by showing how to manage their agriculture. That's the story. I know I know none of you probably caught on, picked up any of that. See, so then, right? So he does that. Now remember, but he did it what with his creativity, because he could figure out stuff that no one else could figure out. His creativity. Remember, that was all about his creativity. See, that's what it was about creativity. Remember, that's what I said. That's their that's the engine behind their success. It was his creativity because he was able to figure out this puzzle nobody else can figure out. See, creativity. Then what happened? Then, right? So he was given charge of the agricultural. See, showed him what to do. But what happened? His children, they enslaved his children though. That's that's $6 thing. Allah told us they threw them in prison and they used their children and converted them into niggers, right? And they enslaved them for 40 years, right? But what they do when they enslave them? What the story says, right? They enslaved them and they used their creativity. Because what was they supposed to be building, right? They was building. They was building because it was making bricks. What you make bricks, that's building, right? They're supposed to make. They was making bricks. They was building. That's their slave was. They was building this country, right? But how was they doing it? They told them, you have to make bricks with no straw. How you gonna do that? They had to be creative. They had to be creative. So they was using their creativity. They was using their creativity. So you have to be creative. Because you gotta make bricks without using straw. That means you have to be creative. How can you do that? Because you need straw to make the bricks. So they said, no, you can handle straw. You have to make bricks anyway. It means you have to be creative. So they robbed us our creative. That's the whole story, brothers and sisters. They robbed our creativity for 40 years. See? So we are their wealth. That's why we're the gold and silver that they don't want to let go. Because they said, because that's how I said, that's how they was plundered by the taking away of this silver and gold. That's us. Because we're the engine of their success. We're the engine of their creativity, engine of their technology. Without us, they would have no technology. Because they didn't have it, they brought us over here. And we're the only, Australia, you don't see it come out of there, all Caucasian there. You see it come out of France. You see it come out of Russia. Only come out of here because we're here. That's what they're hiding from you, brothers and sisters, is your creativity. See, that the music come out, it seems, like nobody pay attention to that, right? It's your creativity. That's why they think, they call it hidden figures. They hid a lot more than that. So you give you a little hint, hidden figures. Brothers and sisters, you're the source of their wealth. When you leave all that creativity, right? Because you the one gave form to formlessness. You the one put those stars and moons and planets and galaxies and constellations out there. You did it. They try to set the creator and the creation with this religion stuff. See, because that's all belief. Take away from mathematics. Because Islam is mathematics, Islam. Sunniism is not Islam. They said they gave them Islam as a religion. It's a religion for them because they can't prove any of it. You understand, brothers and sisters? So I can go more and more into Joseph's story, but I just need some history. Because we break everything down. So you study, that's it right there. It tells you. See, now Farrakhan want to switch around. He want to say, well, you know, we Joseph now. See, that's backwards. Because Joseph's descendants that went to slavery. No, we Joseph, we're going to inherit America. Get America's body. Then 5 minutes later, America be destroyed. I mean, make up your mind. Then God's going to destroy America. Oh, but if anybody attacks America, we're going to fight against them. These people are insane. They're crazy. And if you can't see it, then I guess you're going to go down with them. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. The war, just think about it. The war's only days away. We'll see. But those of you that hear this, you think you're going to wait and see what happens? Well, you won't be getting a spectator seat. What they call it, the hot seat? Whoa, we'll see. Okay, brothers and sisters. Hi, Assalamu alaikum.